Well, good morning and welcome to Cityline. It is wonderful to be in your home. We are live every Thursday morning, and this morning is a beautiful May 25th. We are on the verge of Memorial Day weekend, and it's supposed to be hot. So I, for one, am very happy. We have a great show ahead of us, and if you saw on the wide shot, you saw in the corner of the studio, this magnificent person standing in front of this red table, and if you could smell it, you would know beautiful food coming up in our third segment. Teddy, tell us what you're making.
Hi, Sawadee, Amanda. Today I prepared two menus for you, which is the Tom Yum Gung. It's mean like spicy sour soup and mango sticky rice. I can't wait for you to come here and try it.
Oh, I would be there now, but then that wouldn't be very fair to Luke, but I'm glad I didn't have breakfast. Of course, with me right now is, let me go back for a second. Patsy Sirocano will be with us for the Asian Pacific Cultural Center segment. And also we have Relay for Life in the house, and that's coming right up. So Nicole is here to talk about how Relay has changed and also what her hopes are for this year's Relay. And with me right now is, I swear to God, every parent's best friend. I mean, if you don't have this man on speed dial, you should. I'm talking about Luke Miner, who is the Washington 529, which is the Washington College Savings Plan. Luke Miner, you are their director and doing a bang-up job.
Well, thanks for saying that, Amanda.
It's true.
Love the work I do. It keeps me coming back every day.
I love that. Mister, these socks are just outstanding. Could you put your foot up on that table and show us a sock cam here?
I sure can, right here.
What does it say?
It says, believe in yourself. So these socks are very special in many ways. For one, it represents the Pacific Northwest. We have Bigfoot represented.
Yes.
And believe in yourself, which is what we're all about with this program, is helping kids believe in themselves that they can achieve their future dreams, and college will help them get there.
Oh, I love that. I love that. So for people who have not been on the Washington College Savings Plan journey, like you and I have been for the past 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years here, what is Washington College Savings Plans? Because it changes so much as people change.
So Washington College Savings Plans include two programs offered by the state of Washington that help families save for future higher education costs for their kids or for themselves. We have the Guaranteed Education Tuition Program and the Dream Ahead College Investment Plan. And they are both tools that help, again, families financially prepare for future college costs. And when we say college, we're really trying to redefine that term. It's not just that traditional four-year university experience people think of. It's community college, it's technical school, technical training, apprenticeship programs. There's a wide variety of uses that families can save money for with these programs and put them to good use to help their students skill up and ultimately get the career they want, graduate with minimal student loan debt.
Yeah. And we're going to talk later on in this segment about barriers that you see, what happens when you have that first person who graduates from college or they start the savings plan, and the kind of support that you give them. So you mentioned two plans. You mentioned 529 and the Dream Ahead. How do they work?
So 529 plans speak to the federal tax benefits. So that's the big thing about 529 plans, is like a 401k retirement plan, there are tax benefits when you save money and use those expenses for college. So any money you put into a Get or Dream Ahead account grows tax-free and remains tax-free when you use it for what we call qualified higher education expenses, which I talked about are much broader than many people think. There's tuition, there's room and board, there's books and supplies, and even tools associated with apprenticeship programs. There's a wide variety of uses to help, again, students pay for those necessary things they need to do college or career training.
Right. And what you just said, I want to rewind just a second. You listed for me parts of a college degree or the pursuit of it that these funds can cover. Back when I was in college, my scholarships and my financial aid only covered tuition. And that was a big shock for me. I told you in the green room, I got to college and thought, hey, everything is covered. And then boom, I went, wait a minute, I have to have $1,000 for books. And I had no idea, because I was one of the first people to go to college in my family. So there was nobody there kind of helping out. So it's important that you can show us the ropes in that way of saying, hey, it covers food, it covers tuition, it covers books, all of those things that perhaps a first-timer wouldn't know. So tell me what has been happening with the 529 recently.
So recently, there's been one really positive change broadly among 529 plans, because every state offers these college savings plans for their residents. And so at a federal level, we advocate to improve these programs. And recently, last year, Congress passed a new measure that allows families with unused college savings funds, let's say a student gets that full ride scholarship,
right,
or let's say they pursue something that they don't end up needing their funds for. Soon families are going to actually be able to roll those funds into a retirement account for that student to jumpstart their retirement savings. And so again, it really helps us alleviate those concerns from families about what's going to happen if we don't know what the future is. Like, what if my student doesn't pursue higher education?
Yes.
So it's about that life cycle of saving and getting people saving early and giving them the confidence that those savings efforts are going to be able to put to good use no matter what path a student chooses. But we always encourage families to think about the wide variety of opportunities that you can use these funds for, because as we talked about, many people hear college and they think of the four-year university and
yes,
say, well, that's not for my student, or I'm not sure what path they'll choose. But we continue to expand the uses of these programs so that you can get the technical training you need and be able to utilize these funds to do so.
That is incredible. I mean, I'm not going to date myself, but back when I was in high school, there was no support for a technical trade college. You couldn't even get funding for it. You had to make monthly payments through, Bates or something like that. So it's just amazing to me how far this program has come. And the fact that you can turn that money into savings, that's generation changing. And when we talk about barriers that people have in terms of higher education, if something happens and someone decides, hey, this is not the way I'm going to go, I'm going to enlist in the military instead, then they have a savings program to come back to, which is just the latte factor, isn't it?
It is, yeah, the latte factor. So, the whole $5 a day, if you kind of repurpose that to saving for college, $5 a day over 10 years adds $18,000 to your college savings, and that's before any potential growth in the account.
You're smart. That was good math. and also in the sense of you don't miss it. And if you decide not to use it, then you are one up on. I worry about this new generation coming up. Will they ever be able to afford to buy a home? Well, if they don't go to college and they keep the savings up, maybe they will. Can you use this GET program or the Dream Ahead for out-of-state education or a private school?
You can, and that's a common misconception, especially about GET. We didn't really break down how these two programs differ. So the GET program is called a prepaid tuition program. It's designed to keep pace with Washington college costs. University of Washington specifically is what we index the value of a GET account to. You buy a year of tuition, you're guaranteed that no matter how much tuition changes over time, you've prepaid that year of tuition. So because that's the model of the program, many people think, oh, I can only use it in Washington, and have some reservations about that. The good news is it's portable. That's how the value is determined on an annual basis, but a student can take that out of state to a private school.
Wow.
And as we talked about, things beyond your traditional four-year university setting, graduate school, community college, trade school, technical school, apprenticeship programs. So, and that's true of the Dream Ahead program as well. Dream Ahead is our investment-based 529 plan that we have a variety of investment portfolios depending on the student's age and your risk tolerance. But the same wide variety of uses as GET when a family goes to actually put those funds to use.
So now contrast the Dream Ahead. So the Dream Ahead is, I'm going to spill the beans. You have a child who is 3, and I'm sure you and your partner are already saving. in terms of college or trade school. Am I right?
We are trying our best to walk the walk there. So we opened a Get account for our daughter Hope before she was even born. And at the time we were starting to have nieces and nephews, and
Yeah.
I just wanted to get an account open so that I could start putting money away for those special people in my lives. We weren't sure if we were on the kid track yet, but I knew there were important people in my life I wanted to be saving for. But then Hope was born. We already had that jump start. We've encouraged the family to get involved in the process for holidays, birthdays, that kind of thing. So Grandma and Grandpa, Nana and Papa are all involved. We're putting money into our nieces and nephews' accounts. So that whole saying, it takes a village to raise a child.
It does.
Yeah, and that's just on the Get side. On the Dream Ahead side, the great thing about these programs is they're not mutually exclusive. A Washington family can choose to participate in both programs because maybe they want to diversify their college savings portfolio or have different goals that they may want to use Get for versus Dream Ahead. So we have a Dream Ahead account for Hope as well that we opened shortly after she was born, and are doing the best we can to attend to both of those, make those small efforts that add up over time. And that's the best thing a family can do, is get started early, make small commitments over time. The latte factor, like you talked about, think of things that aren't a huge impact to your budget, but it just gives you some forward momentum because it becomes easy. You know, the power of habit.
Yes.
It's hard to break a habit, it's hard to start a habit, but once you establish positive habits, they can be very easy or much easier to maintain in the long run.
What is that? Is it 28 days or 21 days? I never know, but I know if I get to 21, go to 28 and make sure you're good. So we've talked about technical schools. Let's talk about your daughter Hope. I'm assuming because her parents are so brilliant that she would get a scholarship. What would happen to Hope's money if she got a scholarship, or, goddess forbid, she decides not to go to college?
Yeah, it's a great question, and a fear that many parents have when they would think of this dedicated savings account. All these what ifs, these future unknowns. And so the first thing we remind people of is the wide variety of uses. So scholarships, you were talking about the fact that you were surprised to learn that your scholarship didn't cover a variety of things like books. So that's the first thing many families realize. Oh, well, we got a scholarship, but it is rare for students to get that full ride scholarship. So there are often a variety of other expenses you still need to attend to that your college savings fund could be used for. Now, if they truly get a full ride, or they choose a path that you just really cannot use these funds for, they are transferable. You can transfer them to a sibling or a cousin.
Okay.
Or even back to yourself if you want to further your education.
Or retirement. Can you move them
exact-
back to your retirement also? Okay.
Exactly, and as we talked about a few minutes ago, this is very new and it's going to roll out in January 2024. You'll be able to actually roll any unused 529 funds into a Roth IRA savings account to, again, jumpstart that student's retirement planning, because we all know that retirement security is an equally important financial consideration for families.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, like, as I said, when I look at the generations coming up, and I think about the themes and the mindsets that I was raised with, I look at them and say, will they ever be able to own a home? Will they ever be able to travel and have a cultural education? Well, our economy is having a rough time right now. Speaking of that, how did COVID affect the 3 years or the 2 years that we were in lockdown? How did COVID affect this?
COVID has had, as we know, it's been so disruptive on so many levels. For students at colleges, it created a time where you're going off to a new place, having a new experience, and a lot of those supports that would normally be available on a college campus aren't there to help students who may be struggling to adjust. And this actually plays out with someone close to me, her son. She was sending off to school at WSU and just had such hope for, where he was going with that. But he had a very rough time. He went in 2020 and there was 100% remote initially, and then there was the option for students to come back to campus, but there weren't many students there. And he didn't make it past his first year because he just couldn't quite get there. But the great thing was he rethought his career path and was able to get into an apprenticeship program for lineman school.
Wow.
And so the great news was they were able to reapply their college savings they already had to that. So in this case, it ended up being a very happy story, and he's doing a great job and has a great career that he's starting out on. but it is a reality that COVID's been very disruptive for families. But I think there also are some silver linings about us recognizing where those gaps are for supporting students, and also expanding access and flexibility for students. That there is value with this remote education and remote work have opened up, I think, to better meet people where they're at. But I think all these things need to be working together and in balance. And yeah, it's a kind of a time of reckoning for higher education, and we're there to support families and make sure that the financial stress is one piece they don't have to worry about.
It is, as I'm listening to you, I'm thinking, gosh, 30 years ago, college, the theme was graduate from high school, go to college, get a good job. It's a very 1% way to look at something. Today's message is, if I can be so bold, lower barriers, invest a small amount every single month, and you can break a generational cycle by having your first person in that family go to college, and then the door just springs wide open. Is that pretty much correct?
That's exactly right. So this act of having this conversation from a young age of building a college-going mindset in a student can be transformative, not only for that individual, but like you said, future generations too, to create this college-going culture. And there are studies that support this, that a student who knows that there's a college savings account in their name and that's being talked about around the kitchen table, they're going to have better academic outcomes and be more likely to go to college and graduate.
I love that.
So it's not just the money you save, but it's the conversation
the
that's
way
happening.
you do it, yes. Luke, thank you so much for being here today and for continuing to give us access to higher education regardless of what our financial situation is. And I hope to see you back here real soon.
All right, I always would appreciate the invitation, so thanks so much.
You're welcome. We have much more to come. We'll be right back after this quick break.
Today, Grady turns 1. Already he plans to wrestle alligators, try his hand at the culinary arts, stand on his own 2 feet, and explore the world. No matter what your children's dreams might be, or how often they might change, there is one gift that is sure to keep giving. With Washington's 529 college savings plans, you can start saving for your children's future at hundreds of colleges, technical schools, and even apprenticeships anywhere in the country. So go to 529.wa.gov today and start exploring options. Don't borrow your children's future, build it at 529.wa.gov.